Hello, hi everyone. My name is Sonia Sunhart. Thanks for being here. I'm going to continue my series on the power of awareness. One of many of Neville Goddard's books and teachings and lectures. And I would also like to mention that I just finished reading the biography of Reverend Ike, and I really highly recommend it. He was also one of the pioneers that was decoding scripture. And, his life is incredible, and it shows you how powerful we are when we turn our struggles into our strength, something that we went through or lived, whether it's poverty or having the courage to follow your own guidance. I just mentioned this on TikTok this morning on the power of your intuition or your awareness, and how important it is in these times to really develop that, because we're going to be living in a strange world more and more where like the deep fakes and false flags, and I mean, these things have been happening for a while, but they might accelerate. So even though I have a fake background, this is a real voice, real person. I'm a real embodied wise woman that is here to share what I've learned, and I'm always learning. So again, and I am willing to overwrite the information if there's better and higher information coming through. So it's continually evolving as I am. And I am here to, bring this truth or power to empower people as much as possible so that we can move together towards, the heaven on earth reality, which is freedom and, a beautiful life, which I have for myself in a lot of ways. And I'm still developing many things, always, forever, probably. And so are you. And so if you're here, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. I know that there's a resonance on some level. Whenever you find this information, it will help empower you. And I share my own embodied wisdom and stories and experiences here. And again, nobody can take that away from you. It's your experience, your power of knowing and awareness. And in a time of great shiftings, changes, shift of paradigm, shift of frequency, the bigger cosmic unfolding of the up-leveling of humanity and the dismantling of the old paradigm and systems that are not serving humanity, have not for a very long time. And yet they served us to get to the point where we are. So in a way, it's all unfolding beautifully. However, it is going to be important to listen to that small voice within. And this is why I want to share this information and continue. And I'm also here for one-on-one coaching sessions in your own. I have a strong intuition. I can tap into things. I can assist people. I can deeply listen and feel what comes through. It's one of my, I guess, gifts. And I realize that a lot of psychics out there don't know what they're talking about and are contradicting a lot of things, and there's a reason for that. So I've had my own experiences, and I realize that my intuition is really the only thing I can trust and tune into truly to get moving on my journey in the highest possible way. So there we go. That's how I will start, and I will share my screen right now, and we are going to read. Oh, there it is. That's the Zoom. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to make it a little bigger. The truth that sets you free. The drama of life is a psychological one in which all the conditions, circumstances, and events of your life are brought to pass by your assumptions. Since your life is determined by your assumptions, you are forced to recognize the fact that you are either a slave to your assumptions or their master. To become the master of your assumptions is the key to undreamed of freedom and happiness. You can attain this mastery by deliberate conscious control of your imagination. You determine your assumptions in this way. Form a mental image. So let's do this together, okay? Because a lot of people say they want to live their best life, they want to do this and that, and they would like this and that, but really they're all over the place. And I've had clients who are like, they don't know what they want. So I would start with honestly, deeply asking that question and giving yourself the time and space to go into that and to say, what would bring me this freedom and happiness for me in my life? What is my ultimate? You can make, that bucket list, which is all the things you want to explore and experience while you're here on Earth, and beyond, because it never ends. So what are the things that are really resonating with you and that you would love to? So let's form a mental image. Okay, you can close your eyes if you want to. Take a deep breath. Form a mental image and picture a picture of the state desired. So this could be, mental, physical, the way you want to look, what you want to experience. Now, the how you're going to get there, that's going to be unfolding. The more awareness you have, the more you will get the messages, the synchronicities, the alignment, so that you know you're on your path. And these, I call them universal winks, because I can sense and I see that the message is being directed at me. And because I'm aware, I'm awake in the dream. So this whole reality is a construct, and when you're awake in it, you see through a lot of things. You see through the lies, you see through the manipulation a lot of the time. Sometimes you can fall through the cracks. It happens. But the more you develop it, the more you can be on that path. So that's what I'm learning as I go. I'm definitely not at the mastery level yet. However, these last few years have really, really, I think, boosted a lot of us into realizing, wow, I'm so, so, so grateful that I've been trusting my intuition and learning these lessons that I will never forget, because I've leveled up. This is a level up game. It's an ascension game. So I've leveled up. I've coming into my mastery more and more each day. And I wake up thinking about this, so it's your focus, energy flows where attention goes. I've always said this for years and years. I tell everyone, and it's being used all over. I love it because it's like coming into our collective consciousness. Everything does eventually, but there's always some that are kind of tuning in a little bit in advance, and then later on it's like waves and waves and there's those before me and after, and we're waves of consciousness, informing each other, empowering each other. And at this stage, it's accelerating very quickly. And I'm so glad about that, because it's really time for humanity to step up, take their rightful place, because we can see that none of it is making sense anymore. So that's good to know. And then again, here we are. Concentrate your attention upon the feeling that you are already that person. So what kind of person do you want to be? Is it like a good friend, mentor, teacher, mother, father, artist? What kind of person are you? Like what kind of relationships do you have? Do you have really good friendships, people you can trust and love you and you love them? And it's so good to be with them, to dance with them. I'm so grateful personally to have my friends like that. I would like to continue improving my relationship with my daughters, for example, as they mature and get older, and we have a beautiful relationship. I continue to nurture this as time goes on. And other parts of myself, the teacher, confident, showing up, being persistent, continuing what I've started. This is something I have had a hard time with personally. I don't know about you, but we live in an age of a lot of distraction, a lot of other people's lives. And so it's important for us to learn to focus on, tune in to ourselves and our attention. So first, visualize the picture in your consciousness. Then you feel yourself to be in that state as though it actually formed your surrounding world. By your imagination, that which was a mere mental image is changed into a seemingly solid reality. The great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention, firmly and repeatedly focused on the object to be accomplished. It cannot be emphasized too much that by creating an ideal within your mental sphere, by assuming that you are already that ideal, you identify yourself with it and thereby transform yourself into its image, thinking from the ideal instead of thinking of the ideal. So you're really using your internal energy, vision, everything's happening inside. This is where all of the scriptures talk about, the kingdom of God is within you and Christ within, and all of that is happening in the inner realm, in the realm of your imagination and your creator essence, which is what we are made in the image of the creator. We imagine all these words, all these ways of explaining help us to decode what it is to become Christ-like, a Christ being, somebody that is able to go beyond the limitations of the matter and the structures and the realities that have been constructed, and to tap into creating, kind of like a clay. You are molding your reality. And this is becoming like, it's scientifically proven. So it's awesome. And because I've been on this quest and this path for quite a while, and I'm telling you, it's not always easy. It has not been. I'm hoping it's getting easier and easier. But people want you to stay a certain way. They want you to stay the way they always imagined you, the way you were. And you say, no, I have to transform. I cannot stay the same. A caterpillar transforms into a butterfly, but for caterpillars, they have a reality, and butterflies have another reality. And although they come from the same thing, they're not focused on the same thing. They don't take in the energy in the same way. They don't feel the same, right? So yes, we come from the same pool of humanity, but some are focused on much lower realms and lower realities, and others are focused on a higher reality. And it is what it is. There's no judgment. I love the whole unfolding of this human creation, and I'm glad to be part of it. But I've decided to turn into a butterfly, okay? And it's still ongoing because we are in an ascension timeline, portal, choice point, whatever you want to call it. There's so much background research. There's a lot of people talking about this. I started my channel to talk about this as well 5 years ago. And I'm super glad to see that it's really expanding. And because I think we're at a tipping point, I really, really do. And I'm excited about that because I want freedom. I want us to live so much freer and to have abundance for the whole planet. This has been my vision all the time: running water, clean air, clean. So we keep visualizing it and it'll happen. So let's keep going. Let's not go into the doom and gloom and everything. They're pulling us towards this lower realm, and fly into our higher timeline, because God knows it's time. By assuming that you're already that ideal, you identify yourself with it and transform yourself into the image, thinking from the ideal instead of thinking of the ideal. Okay, I read that. Every state is already there as mere possibilities as long as we think of them, but as overpoweringly real when we think from them. Okay. This was called by the ancient teachers subjection to the will of God, or resting in the Lord. Thy will be done. This is what this means. It's not the little human self that has a program running. It's God's will. It's the strong essence of you moving towards your highest reality timeline, your healthiest, your most abundant. This is what it's about. We keep going and we keep growing, and we are listening to God's voice from within us. Okay. Resting in the Lord is that all who do rest are inevitably transformed into the image of that in which they rest. Thinking from the wish fulfilled, you become according to your resigned will. And your resigned will is your concept of yourself and all that you consent to and accept as true. You, assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled and continuing therein, take upon yourself the results of that state, not assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You are ever free of the results. So you're not going to get the results if you're not assuming that you're already there. And this is another thing with the time-space thing, because we have this linear clock time, which is called chronos. And then we have kairos, which is this malleable quantum field, plasma, and anything's possible in there. You can, you can move around in any direction. But you are in it. It's like what Abraham calls the vortex. So putting this together is like, it's all there right now in the imagination, in the vortex. It's not, it's not one day, because then you're pushing it forward. One day this will happen. Yeah. Later, and that gives us, like, what you're imagining it right now, right? And this is what's hard for us. And I've been playing with this for a long time, and I still couldn't get it, because we live in the past and the present and the future, right? We need to move in a certain direction, like a linear time frame. But this is what's changing with all of this, is you realize, no. Once my concept of myself and my vision and my mission and my imagination, the way I want it to be, starts to happen. And we can use that for like aging backwards, which I'm focused on right now, because I want to explore what's possible. I don't want to be limited and everybody's saying, oh, now, and that's a whole thing in itself, following what everybody else and listening to your own sense of adventure and why you came versus what others are telling you that you came for or that you are. So when you understand the redemptive function of imagination, you hold in your hands the key to the solution of all your problems. And this, my friends, the key to all your problems, I have been living this my whole life. And I wish that I had known sooner how much easier life can be when let's say you lose your keys. Instead of going all over the house and looking everywhere and starting to get stressed about that, because you're like, I have to go, I can't find my keys and whatever, you can sit down, tune in, listen to the intuition and say, tell me where my keys are. And get the vision, the flash, whatever. You might not even get anything. You just get up, start walking around, and before you know it, you'll be exactly where you need to be to get your keys. So I've done this. It's amazing. And I'm like, wow, this is, more and more, as I prove it to myself, I can speak about it, because I would not want to be sharing. I don't like to, pretend. I think we're going to be telepathic and transparent, and everything has to be known. It already is in the ethers, in the in our memory bank, the Akashic field, all that. So the quantum field of all possibilities. So I would like to be transparent and say, look, I'm still learning, but these are stories that can back up what I'm speaking about here, and why I resonate so much with Neville Goddard and these teachings. And I'm sure anybody who's learning about him is still learning. Like, it's like amazing. And when you've been also, like, people like me who've been researching I'm such a reader. Like, I always have 2-3 books on the go. I have to read every day. I need to learn. I need to decode things, to understand things. And this is part of my nature. So I'm happy to do this. This makes me happy. So that's why I'm doing it. And I know that it's helping people along the way. And I'm ready to, to share my voice and my own wisdom with anyone who's open to it. Every phase of your life is made by the exercise of your imagination. Determined imagination alone is the means of your progress, of the fulfilling of your dreams. It is the beginning and end of all creation. So we've heard that before, right? The beginning and the end, that's also part of the scriptures. Great secret is a controlled imagination, a well-sustained attention, firmly and repeatedly focused on the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it fills the mind and crowds all other ideas out of consciousness. What greater gifts could be given you than to be told the truth that will set you free? The truth that sets you free is that you can experience in imagination what you desire to experience in reality. And by maintaining this experience in imagination, your desire will become an actuality. I have so many stories. Oh my God, I can share so many stories. I don't want to take too much time on the video. I think I'm going to stop it here. Actually, no, I'll read this page and then I do have to go, and I don't keep my videos too long because I like to do this chapter and like digest the information, and you can go with it and I can be with it, and whoever finds this later. You are limited only by your uncontrolled imagination and lack of attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. When the imagination is not controlled and the attention not steadied on the feeling of this wish fulfilled, then no amount of prayer or piety or invocation will produce the desired effect. When you can call up at will whatsoever image you please, when the forms of your imagination are as vivid to you as the forms of nature, you are master of your fate. You must stop spending your thoughts, your time, and your money. Everything in life must be an investment. Okay, good advice. This is advice that I'm giving myself that somehow I read this, but now I'm really reading it, you see? Because sometimes we can go into a looping of a situation, an obsession, or something that you really, really want. And you're spending your time in that instead of focused on your wish fulfilled. And again, let's say for a partner, a divine partner in your life. I've manifested people, but things transformed along the way. And sometimes you realize that there were other things that you might not have had clarity about, and you have lessons to learn and all these things, so and again, that's each person has to go through their own initiations, or I don't know if you call them that, but I guess exploring that your imagination kind of went off in a bad way, or the other person is just not compatible with you growing and evolving on your path. Like I was saying, the ascension path is you're always up leveling, and that sometimes doesn't mean some people aren't coming along with you. They can still be part of your reality, but the conversations and all of this is not going to be the same. And there is a point where some just disappear when you make that conscious choice and vision to live the higher timeline, and they can't go with you, or it's not part of their. And again, this is where it differs, because there's a lot of people speaking about everyone is you pushed out. So whatever you want, even another person, you can like, and honestly, like, who wants to be with someone that is not going to be at the same, like, you can't, it just doesn't, it's not compatible, and it could be painful and all that, but at the same time, it's, and it was, trust me, I get very attached to people and all that. And, my heart gets so connected to them. And so I've done a lot of work, on that, and it's ongoing. So I just want to share that because it's a little vulnerable moment, which I don't do very much. I like to keep to the teachings and the experiences, but this is part of the experience, is also sharing more of my, things I've gone through and the way I'm interpreting it, not just for me, but to realize that it's going to help people, because people get stuck in stagnant situations and energies for a long time, and sometimes even their whole lifetime. And that's so sad, It's like, no, you have to break free. You have to align with your soul path and your soul calling and your visions, and what it is that you came here to do. And it could be having children, but then, you know, there's a point where like, well, that was the whole purpose. And now there's something else I need to explore and experience. I need to know thyself and I can't do that in this context. So I need a new context. And, but maybe you can make it work if you can, but you know, it's going to be unique to each person. So this is what I've been learning as well. And, you know, with friends and also clients that I coach, that's what I realized, you know, that it's very unique. The important thing is that the person gets the tools to develop their intuition and be inspired and have the books and the things that, you know, if they're readers, if they're not, meditation is fine. You will get the answers through meditation. You don't need the books. It's just, you know, extra or whatever. And journaling, which is, I journal every single day. Every morning, first thing I do when I wake up is I journal. And then anything else that I'm creating, I'm always taking a lot of notes and going back to them and then seeing where the patterns are so that I can extract what the best ideas are and to, you know, put them together. So there's a whole process to that I use, but that could be different for each person. But I feel like by deeply tuning in, whether it's a healing or a creation, that's when we get the right answers for us. So I think this is really great. You must stop spending your thoughts, your time, and your money. Everything in life must be an investment. So as I'm saying this, I realize that I'm doing this for free, but I am writing my book and doing my research at the same time, and also offering my coaching services. And I also have one-on-one, like direct healing, sound healing, and intention setting and all that for healing, whatever. And it's very powerful. It works very well. It's very successful. So I'm happy to continue and expand that. And then, you know, what else is an investment, not just monetarily, but the investment in myself, my body, my, you know, loving myself, giving myself the time if I really need a massage or a half day, you know, rest, or I need to hike up the mountain because it's a beautiful day and that's what I feel like doing. My body wants to be in the sun and move. And so I'm giving myself the liberation, the lifestyle, so that I'm not stuck under anybody else's authority, but my own. So I can work more if I need more, and I can work less if I want less. It's up to me. And I love that. And I hope to continue honestly sharing and how we can do that, you know, and all that. And again, I will never give a one size fits all because that's absolutely impossible. It insults the soul. But the human design can give you your own blueprint to look at, which is interesting, and the gene keys, your hologenetic profile. You can go check that out. And I think I'm going to link some of this underneath, and also a few of my channels other Neville Goddard channels and teachers that I enjoy. I'm going to link more information down below. And yeah, thanks for listening and take care, everyone. Bye-bye. So I'm going to turn this off. Doo, doo, doo.